Welcome to the Rise podcast, where we spotlight visionaries in e-learning and professional training, helping you reach new heights, create impact, scale your vision, and empower others. My name is Ai, and I'm your host today, and we're thrilled to have Professor Ved, the founder of VEDx, a global company transforming after-school education across 13 countries. With the after-school market set to reach about $32 billion by 2027, VEDx is leading the charge with innovative programs in math, memory, coding, leadership, and more, guided by a mission to make kids 10 times more intelligent. From launching the acclaimed Math Genius program to earning recognition from outlets like USA Today, Professor Ved is defining how we nurture young minds. So, Professor Ved, let's start with what sparked your passion for this bold mission. What's the story behind VEDx?
First of all, thank you, I, for having me on your podcast. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words. Now, I've always, as I grew up, I always found that if there was one silver bullet to uplifting humanity, if there was one silver bullet to uplift the humanity, it was education. And as I grew up, I found out that at the heart of education is math education. When a young child, is good at math, it's not just about learning a subject. It's about developing confidence, self-confidence. It's about developing self-respect, self-dignity that is so critical for a human being to grow up and dream big, right? And not just that, if a child, I realize, is good at math, they become deeper thinker. Not that everyone should go on and become mathematician, but everyone should follow their heart. And if they are good at math and numbers and logic, they will be doing a much deeper work and reaching far beyond in their chosen field. So math being at the heart of education, and education being the silver bullet to uplift humanity, I found that this is what my life will be dedicated to. And today, my mission is to make math the superpower of every child. Now, you know for sure that in the US and Canada, one of the most advanced countries, you'll find that a lot of students struggle in math. And the story is same everywhere. But even in advanced countries, by grade 4, only 30% students are at the grade level. And especially the girl children, right? They go through extra barriers, they go through biases, and they start developing a mindset that math is not for them. And it is so unfortunate, right? So my mission is to make sure that every child from all walks of life, girl or a boy, from advanced country and advanced heritage to poor heritage, from cities to small towns, right? Everyone has a strong chance to make math their superpower. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of my latent feelings while growing up, what I saw, what I understood, then finally got into what I wanted to contribute and how I wanted to contribute to the world. And that's how VEDx came into existence.
Wow, that's so profound. And I would love to also hear from you what's the most unexpected lesson that you have actually learned about how people learn.
Well, yeah, that is very unexpected, very unusual. You know something, even today, billions of dollars have been invested in education. You agree, right? The budget of education department is so high, the US and Canada and other countries. Yet, this performance remains that only 30% of the students, right, are at the grade level by grade 4. So it is a national challenge, right? Now, here is the thing. Here is a challenge that the world has not yet solved, and we are solving. Yeah. The challenge is this, that when and I learned it after taking many students through the program, and there was, imagine 2 students with similar raw talent, similar brain power, but in the family of one child, the parents are involved, and there is a culture of discipline at the heart of the family with related to maths. there is a supportive environment around the child. Parents are concerned, parents are putting their own time to make sure that their child would grow to become better at math. And then there is another family. The child is absolutely similar in terms of the raw brain power. But for some reason, the family is not aligned. There is not a very strong culture of discipline around math in the family. So, what happens when the child in family one grows? They continue to excel in math. When the child in family two grows, they start finding challenges very early on. And that hits around grade 4 and 5 because that is when you are expected to learn a little bit more about math. Math starts getting a little more complex by the time you hit the middle school. And then there you go, a child who is not supported, who is not taken care of, there is no culture of discipline in the family around math, starts finding it very difficult, right? Gradually gets left out. So when we found this out, right, the teaching math was important. We were innovating around teaching math. But we made a big difference, big change in our philosophy. And we said that, when we onboard a child in our program, we're not onboarding the child, we're onboarding the family, right? So now in our program, we form a team with the parents, a partnership with the parents. And I take a lot of effort in that direction. There are daily thought of the day videos that we send out and small nuggets of wisdom, ranging from Confucius to Socrates to Plato to Aristotle to Albert Einstein to Newton. I use the names of the gods who lived on earth, right? These real scholars, their stories to bring some energy, positivity, motivation, inspiration in the life of the family. Parents derive some energy out of it and they try to create a positive environment around the child. And not just that, we leave it to the parents. Our teachers are the most dedicated teachers in the world. They care about the child every single day. We conduct classes only once or twice in a week. Our faculty members, coaches, they are in touch with the family every single day, right? And they're very prompt, which means that in true sense, we create a partnership with the family, not just the child. And that was the learning that has brought the biggest change and biggest impact in how we deliver our program. And the result has been magical, fantastic. We have many students who are not 1 or 2 grade levels ahead of their current grade level, 4 grade levels ahead. That's just magical. That is the power of human brain. You give a human brain right kind of supportive environment and you be prepared to amaze. Grade 2 students who are not even supposed to learn multiplication tables, they will show you understanding of advanced geometrical with the right kind. And we have many math geniuses right now. I'm so excited to find out what will happen when these guys grow up. Very, very brilliant, just when they are just a few years old. So that is what can happen. That is the overall message. That is what can happen when families, right, they team up with a team of educators and they create a positive, proactive environment in their home around math education. Right? And it holds true not only for math education. If a child develops an interest in something, maybe music, maybe art, maybe sports, maybe not math, but other academic areas, and if the parents and the family can team up with a group of educators and provide that environment to the child, sky is the limit. So that was one thing that we realized, and that has made all the difference.
And it seems like you and also the teachers in your organization has contributed a lot to supporting the family of the child. So I would love to also learn how you actually build a organization with a culture of continuous learning.
That is so important. First of all, our coaches, they go through so much training that the number of steps that they have to cross itself proves how strong they are as people. Almost each of them will point out that when they were growing up, there was that teacher, right?
Yes.
That made all the difference, right? So my message to my team, my coaches, is to become that teacher. And in order to become that teacher, you really have to be a very advanced human being. Think more about the student and what they need, less about your own comfort and how you have grown up until now. Become a giver in true sense. So there are a lot of guiding principles at VEDx that allow our coaches to be very effective. I can go on, but there is one example that I would like to share. The VEDx philosophy is that a coach should not be like a parent. A coach should be like a grandparent. Right? Parents have the responsibility to criticize, to correct, to create boundaries for the child. Grandparents, they spoil their grandchildren.
That's it.
Right? Parents sometimes are at the opposite side of what students or what their kids want. Grandparents, they always team up with their grandkids, right? And therefore, do not judge the child. Do not be critical of the child. Don't say one critical word for the child. Be that supportive person who the child can trust with his or her life. And that is when you will be able to bring the change that you're looking to bring. So there are a lot of examples of this great bonding that our coaches create with the students. They become a part of their life, right? So in that bonding, we have seen that a lot of students who were not practicing math every day, they've started practicing math, doing 1 hour to math every day just because of this bonding. A lot of students, they expect our faculty member to call them on their birthdays and wish them because they've become almost like a family member.
Really like a family.
Yeah, family member. So you can understand the impact if a teacher becomes your biggest trusted partner in your journey. And I believe those are some of the things that those are some of the values that we encourage our coaches. Of course, we train and we audit, and there is a lot of attention, effort that we spend in making sure that our coaches evolve to that extent where they are very effective.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I remember, I do remember a couple of teachers who made a real impact in my life throughout the years, and it's all really thanks to the teachers who are really encouraging to us and really taught us the way, the ropes that shape us who we are. I would love to also touch base about your personal story as well as a founder. If would you share a time that when you actually doubt your path in this industry and what kept you going?
Yeah, so if you are an entrepreneur, right? I mean, every day is a ride. In the morning, you feel high. In the afternoon, you feel low. In the evening, you feel high again. If you're an entrepreneur, it goes on, right? The summers are great. Then there is winter that comes. And then again, there is a spring.
Just like
Then,
seasons.
that's like seasons. So if you have embraced entrepreneurship as a part of your life, it's very difficult in the beginning to see it and to accept it, but over a period of time, you become like a monk. You know that this too shall pass. But I must tell you that it is very surprising that all my inspiration, my motivation, the energy coming back, rushing back into my souls, almost every single time it has been my students. The kind of things they do, the positive words sometimes they send. Sometimes they would record a nice little video about how they're enjoying the program and how they love Professor Wade, the faculty who is taking them through their program. So their stories, their kind words, sometimes parents send kind words, right? And that gives me enough energy, right, to feel invincible, that whatever is the situation, this shall pass. And we are going to uh, continue on our mission and, hopefully change the world by making millions of students who would otherwise go on to fear math, right? Millions of those students who will go on to love math. So my inspiration at any point of time, it has been these children, my students, my math geniuses.
Oh, that's brilliant. Every time when we actually do things for just ourselves, we can we can still go on, but It's always the people that, the things that the value that we actually provided for other people that really motivate us to move further in our journey. And I would love to also know, in your journey so far, what has been the toughest decision that you have made as a leader?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. There have been many times, right? There have been many times. Let me see if I can single out any point of the toughest decision that we made. I don't know. I mean, the life is much more simpler in 21st century, right? I'll tell you why. Because I don't see many decisions as very tough decision. The reason is that most of the decisions have two doors. You go out, and if things don't work out, you can come back. It's not life threatening. Let us say you are going in a war, live or die. There is no coming back. And unfortunately, there is still wars going around the world. And I always feel that today the world should not be the way it was in the middle years. A lot of wars and a lot of killings. Today, the world should go to a next level where the wars are history. Once upon a time, there used to be wars. That's how we should talk about it. But anyways, I digress. Coming back, so most of the decisions that entrepreneurs need to take today are two-way decisions. You walk into the door. If it doesn't work out, you can always walk back. So the decisions are not as critical, and therefore it doesn't feel as tough. Yeah, there have been moments like, there was a time when I hated the fact that education companies, they used to charge a bulk amount in advance. So they would charge 12 months or 18 months of fees from parents in advance. And that creates an unfair situation between the parent and the organization, right? Because you have to pay a huge amount of money in advance, and then whether your child is benefiting from the program, whether your child is seeing transformation in the school and the grades, right? That becomes irrelevant because you're already logged in for 18 months or 12. Now, I knew that I was on the other side, the side which should charge 18 months and 24 months, and then make sure that the organization is in better shape so that the organization can function with their finances, hire faculty members, and have the stability to hire faculty members and invest in resources that we needed to invest. But as a parent, I didn't like this fact that education partners are going to lock parents for such a long period of time. And no one was doing it in the online world. But I stood up for my principles, saying that I would want to give parents the right to withdraw from the program, not overpay, withdraw from the program the moment they want. I would live by the principle that your money is yours unless we have delivered our service. And then we change the model. We say that, you pay monthly, and if it doesn't work for you, you can withdraw. Now, there was a challenge here. There was a big fear I had. The fear was this, that my program would show results only after a few months of dedicated effort every single day.
Yes.
And making families put effort every single day is not a trivial task. It's saying that, hey, my dear hiker, you're running a hiking company, and you're telling the hiker that if after 3 miles, if you feel like that you don't want to continue, don't pay. I mean, a hiker is almost going to be tired after you take him 3 miles. So it's more likely that the hiker is going to withdraw, right? So you are doing something which is very counterintuitive, right? Which is very counterintuitive. And it has
Makes
big
sense.
impact. It has a big impact on how your organization can grow and find resources to invest in all the research work and doing hiring work and in research work and running the operations. But sometimes, things are way different than what you expect or imagine them to be. On the contrary, parents now who have seen the result will stay with this program and this company for 12 years, all 12 years of their child's school education. They're not going anywhere. They have seen the kind of dedication that the team brings. They have seen the change and transformation in their child. They have seen that there is nobody else who will team up with them and be their sounding board partner, their planning partner in what to do and how to, help their child continue to grow. They have figured that out, and they're not going anywhere. And I believe that, you see, a difficult moment, a tough moment, a decision that I took with, what do you say, not with as much confidence, shall I say, turned out to be in a way, a very important point in the evolution of our organization. My transformation into a teacher itself was the toughest moment. I was a technocrat, right? I worked in technology. I made a first tablet PC for India in education in 2011, which is around 14 years ago. I was given the national award by the Indian government for building that education tablet PC for Indian students. And I always wanted to do the tech stuff, build hardware, write software, put everything together and bring a big change. And I never wanted to do teaching. I thought myself as a technocrat, then an educator in 2000.
Right.
I still at that time, I believed that all my skill sets will go to the society to improve education. So I was doing it for education. And then I realized after a few years of studying the society that the level of education and the people who were trying to educate children, they needed to evolve, not the students, right? The quality of coaches, the quality of teachers was not up to the mark. But then, sometimes you have God's blessings that you do not know, right? People connected with me at a level that I was not expecting. So huge number of people started connecting with me. Grown-ups started connecting with me when I turned as an educator. Somehow I was able to create a very deep bond with what they were looking for. And then even better, children started liking me. They started bonding with me. So there we go. I mean, one of the toughest decisions that I took to turn into an educator turned out to be one of the biggest and best decisions of my life. So, as I told you, right? I mean, this is 21st century. People say that, this is my toughest decision of my life and it's so tough. But you realize that, these are two-way doors and, you may think that this is tough, but you can always walk back. And therefore, there are a lot of opportunities that you should not think tough and go out, explore yourself. And if things work out, great for you, find your strengths. If they don't work out, you can always walk back and start all over again.
This reminds me of when we actually go through mathematics questions. We just have to go through the process. Sometimes we don't find the same answer, but we can always reverse back.
That is true. Yes, that is true.
I love that.
That's a good one, yeah.
So you mentioned about technology. I would love to also hear from you how you actually decide which technology to actually impart, I would say, include in your organization in this fast evolving e-learning space.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, very important point. And I believe that everybody who is thinking seriously about our children, every single educator who is thinking about improving the level, the skill sets of our students, they should now, see how to use AI. And your name is I, and I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Yeah, is that a coincidence or
It is coincidence.
It's a coincidence, right? And this is a beautiful coincidence. So today is we are fortunate. 2020, I say, right? Before 2020, you are in internet age. After 2020, you are in an AI age.
AI.
And whatever you do, you have the power of AI to make things way better, right? And today we are using and continuing to research on how to use AI and gradually incorporate it in every part, in every culture of our organization. So one stream is to have custom AI modules to be able to give specific feedback to students on everything that they are doing on a daily basis. Very specific feedback. And there is the message that you get impacted by, the message that you feel very strongly doesn't depend just on the message. It also depends on the messenger. Who is saying it, right? And therefore, right now, Professor Wade being just one person, he cannot be with everybody at the same time. But with the help of AI and with the training modules, I think virtually I can be with all my math geniuses, giving them knowledge, giving them a little bit of realistic, positive feedback at
Feedback.
every point of the journey. So those custom AI modules, there is one area. Second area is agentic AI, where our program is not just for the student, it is also for the family. And it is also for the educator to look into the journey of the child. So fascinate the parents, saying that look at the journey, how your child is evolving, and give all the visibility to the teachers, right? Teachers are human beings. They need a lot more data and they
True.
need a lot more
Yeah.
information. They need a lot more
Resource.
resources, recommendations based on real data. You could say that, hey, yeah, you are doing great. But it is much better if you say that, your level in this mathematics concept is 90% more advanced than usual students. And then when you say that, right, it makes the same feedback. I mean, you could say that you are awesome, but when you say, when you give the message with real data and information, it has a very different impact. So give the resources, recommendations based on data to the educators so that they can guide the students properly and show the evolution, how the student has been improving and what are the areas that we need to target, improve a little bit to the parents in such a clear way. And that is possible because of agentic AI, because then you have infinite, almost, I mean, in the coming time, infinite memory of what's going on there and all the journey. And then on the basis of that, a lot of recommendation. And then third, of course, is generative AI. We are in the business of content, right? We're in the
Yes.
business of content. How best you can deliver a content. For instance, some content are delivered well in a video format. In mathematics, many things cannot be delivered in video format, right? So there are number of abstract concepts that should follow a certain order, right? And then generative AI comes and helps you get there very well. Earlier, it used to take days and months to plan probability models or simulate probability games, right? Today, with the help of generative AI models, you could build those simulation games of probability within minutes. And not just that, you can continue to explore multiple varieties of probability models and right there in front of students. So the kind of power that you get today using generative AI to educate students is way, way more than what you had just a few years ago.
Yep.
So we are
For sure.
exploring a lot more in that direction. And I am very enthusiastic about putting all of this together and helping my math geniuses, truly fall in love with this magic called math and giving parents and educators a window to look into the mind and the journey of every child in a way that has never been done before.
Wow, this is such an amazing conversation, and I would say you are definitely above the 90% of the leader.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you, AI.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So
Yes.
before we end
Yeah.
this podcast, I actually prepared 3 rapid questions, Professor Vet. Okay, so are you ready for that 3 questions?
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay.
Okay, let's hit it. The first one: favorite VEDx program, math, coding, or leadership?
A math genius program any day. Yeah.
Second question: what's one skill you wish you learned as a kid?
Consistency. Yes.
Last question: favorite tech tool for education right now?
AI.
Thank you so
It has
much.
to be. Yeah. Okay. That's good.
That's a wrap for this episode of Rise with AI podcast. And a huge thank to you, Professor Vet, for actually sharing your knowledge and incredible journey of the insights on transforming after-school education with VEDx. And my key takeaway is that we should never stop exploring and always try unconventional strategy that will actually make a proper impact for our students and the people that we serve. So thank you so much again, Professor Vet, for your time.